Hello everybody, it's AJ back again with the TMG channel, the Mighty Glue Stick, and more on our Were creature series. And today I'm going to be covering, as promised, my favourite Were creature, the Wererat. I've used Wererats before, and to great effect, and they were most perplexing and mysterious and scary to the player characters until they really figured out what was going on, and then it was just abject slaughter, really. But so how you use wererats is quite different from how you would use a werewolf in your game. So I'll go over the basic stats, get that out of the way, and then we'll talk about how you use wererats and what their society and ecology is like. So they're a medium humanoid shape changer, lawful evil, and the lawful evil is that they are definitely evil, but they follow their own strict hierarchy and rules, and they organize themselves. So they have a disposition much like devils. They have an up class of 12, hit points are 33, they've got a speed of 30 feet. They're very adept at climbing as well, although it's not really reflected here. But as you'd imagine, if you've ever seen rats moving around, they can climb up fairly sheer surfaces quite easily while in rat form. So I would give them an equal speed whilst climbing and as a rat. They've got +2 to perception, +4 to their stealth. Their strength is 10. They've got a high dexterity of 15. Constitution is 12. Their intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, 11, 10, and 8, are around human level. They are able to see in rat form in darkness out to 60 feet, and their passive perception is 12. They can speak common and whatever other languages are common to their area. They can't speak while they are in the form of a rat, although as a half-rat hybrid they can. They have damage immunities, which are common to all of the were creatures, the lycanthropes, which is bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical weapons that aren't silvered, does no damage. Not a bit. Or you could rule that they regenerated from it instantly. They are shape changes, and they can use that polymorph into a rat hybrid form or a giant rat form or back into its true form whenever they like. They don't transform their equipment as well, so yeah, and they revert to their true human form if they're killed. They have a keen sense of smell, which they use their wisdom perception modifier for, and they have advantage whenever they use a perception skill which is related to their smell. And in human or hybrid form, they attack twice, uh, and one of those attacks may be a bite, but typically they'll use a short sword or a hand crossbow, something which is easily able to be dragged with them around tight confines of their sewery homes. So with a short sword, they've got +4 to hit and do 5 points of piercing damage, and a hand crossbow +4 to hit, range 30 or 120 feet, and it does 5 points of piercing damage. And their bite, which is the only way that they can transform others into wererats by transmitting the lycanthropy virus, is +4 to hit, does 4 points of piercing damage to the target. They can only bite in rat or hybrid form, and if the target is a humanoid, it must succeed on a DC 11 Constitution saving throw or be cursed with Wererat lycanthropy. Now, somebody asked me, by humanoid, do you mean any humanoid? And the answer is yes. So that can include giants, that can include mind flayers, that can include basically any creature which is a humanoid which is alive. Although it doesn't technically specify that it must be alive, so perhaps you could have a were zombie. Who knows? It's up to you, really. But they leave it fairly open to just humanoids. But yeah, that can include giants. I would say that most giants do have a quick way of dealing with this virus and would have remove curses available to them. Hill giants, which are more savage and sort of ignored by their brethren, probably not. So the most likely encounter that you'll have with a lycanthrope giant would be a hill giant. A hill giant wererat would be kind of hilarious. Okay, on to the ecology of the wererat. So they operate as an organized society, much like a thieves' guild. They prefer to have numbers on their side. Although they do operate alone a lot of the time, and they do prefer not to get into direct combat with anybody. They always prefer to have things weighed in their favor. They know that they're one of the weakest of the were creatures, but they also know that all they need to do is get one bite in, or to confuse and twist and torment their attackers, and conceal their actual existence, and they will thrive. And this is what they do. They generally head to centers of civilization, so they'll go to a major city or some such. They will make their way down into the sewers, or set up a network of safe houses, such as attics or abandoned buildings, old crates and warehouses that they've stacked up in a consignment that they've paid for but nobody ever picks up, that sort of thing. And they will make these safe houses, also trash heaps, and so lumber yards with big heaps of scrap timber or something like that, or they'll set themselves up inside a dam, um, or even hollow out a network of old rotten trees. But typically they'll conceal themselves, and they'll make sure that they stay out of the way. Then they go about their dirty work, which is larceny, theft, greed, avariceness. They are sneaky, they are underhanded, and they have a strict sort of hierarchy amongst themselves, and they operate, as I said, much like a thieves' guild. One of the ways that I've used them in the campaign, and feel free to steal this for yourself, is what they did was nobody was aware in the town that there were actually wererats in a huge network underneath their sewer system. What they thought was going on was that they would just walk to a particular point in town each day, and a gold coin was sitting on the ground waiting for them with no strings attached. And various individuals in various stages of or parts of society were had these regular pickup points where they would just walk along and there's a gold coin on the ground. Every single time they went round there at the scheduled time, there it would be. And it was usually close by to a sewer grate or a gutter outlet or something like that, where the wererats could deposit this without being seen. Because sometimes the adventurous townfolk would wonder where this gold was coming from, and they would try and find it. But each time they were thwarted by some distraction going on, which they turned to look at, and in that short space of time, the wererat has ducked up, put down the coin, and then disappeared again, or found some ingenious way of depositing it there with a fishing rod and a detachable coin or some such. So the townsfolk become accustomed to this extra wealth, this extra pocket money of having this extra gold coin, and it becomes precious to them. And they never ask any questions until one day the gold coin is not there, there's a note, and the note gives them a very specific instruction of something to do that may not necessarily be a bad thing. I mean, it could just be a minor thing, like stand in the middle of the street and don't let anybody pass between this hour and this hour. Keep this door unlocked. Make sure that the supervisor of this group of children is distracted at reception by you trying to sell them something, or some such. And what they do is they organize the townsfolk to actually commit a crime for them, or to make it so easy for them that they just walk on in, snatch a child of some important official that they can blackmail, or break into a vault, or assassinate someone, or gather information on anything they choose. Walk in and check the logbooks of whatever. Go into the coach master's office and find out whoever has arrived or is departing and what time, and their manifesto, you know, anything like that. And they have basically free reign to walk around because they've infiltrated the town, and they have a network of basically double agents working for them, unaware of who they're actually working for. So that's classic sort of wererat behavior. Ultimate concealment, manipulation, and then control and greed. Is greed and spreading their disease is all part of it. They are very selective about who they choose to become a wererat. They won't bite you at random unless they're desperate. And if they're doing that and they don't intend to turn you into a wererat, then they will be biting to kill you, not necessarily to let you leave. Typically, they will bite you, and they will take you as a hostage, and you'll be terrified. You'll be strapped to a plinth or a pole or some such thing. They will bite you and make sure that you turn. And if you haven't turned immediately, then they will keep on biting you and healing you and biting you and healing you until they're absolutely sure that you've failed your saving throw and the lycanthropy has taken hold. And once that actually happens, then you are essentially indoctrinated into their clan, and they let the virus, they won't let you out of their sight, and you're still very much under their control and very much a victim until the virus starts to work its way on your personality and the rat-like traits in your first transformation, and you lose all hope of ever being anything other than a cursed creature, a were-rat. And then they start to build themselves up and tell themselves that they are actually blessed. This curse is in fact a boon. They have a new world, the world underground, and everything that is built above it is just theirs for the taking. They are entitled. They are a necessary part of society. They are chosen, and they puff up their egos so that they justify doing whatever they do, and they start to relish this this superiority they have, that nobody knows that they're there, that they can just do this whenever they want, that people are so greedy and stupid that they would do whatever they want them to just because they're putting some stolen coin on the ground for them, or they've blackmailed them and these humans are so weak they just cave if you threaten their loved ones. So wererats, they do have listed here a short sword and a hand crossbow, and their bite. They prefer to use their rat form for stealthily moving around. Now it is a very large rat; it's a giant rat form, but they do typically use it to sneak around without being seen because they might look like, out of the corner of your eye, a stray dog. If they're not doing anything particularly threatening, a lot of people will just ignore a giant rat because it very much does look like some sort of a dog. And very clever were-rats will actually breed giant rats themselves, possibly even tame them, possibly even introduce them into the culture as a food item, possibly introduce them as pets or guard animals so that they're ubiquitous, so that there's giant rats everywhere. People just take them for granted. Oh, you got bitten by a giant rat? That's unusual. Well, we'll have to put it down. Oh, what was that down the side alley? Oh, it was just a bunch of giant rats. No matter, they're common. So where rats tend to accumulate other rodents, they tend to hang out with trained rats, or packs of wild rats, or feral rats are at their beck and call. You could say that it's part of that disease that rats are drawn to them, but typically they just operate in the same environment as rats, so they just cohabitate and are quite happy with each other. They also have the capacity of, since they retain their reason, they're not overly aggressive, such as the werewolves or wereboars. They retain their reason and they're very clever, and they've got a lot of time on their hands to learn skills. They're quite capable of breaking into an alchemist's lab, stealing his formulas, working it out for themselves, training and studying, and learning how to create poisons, alchemical items, that sort of thing. Wondrous items, even. They've got a lot of time to go and steal magical items. They've got a lot of time to steal bits and pieces from blacksmiths, spikes and rods, and line and wire and rope and that sort of thing. So their network of sewers will be at least rigged with tripwires that will ring bells, that will let them know that somebody is coming, somebody is walking uninvited into their lair, and then they will either flee, make themselves very scarce, fill their lair with rats, possibly even starved rats that are ready to attack anybody who comes in, which may throw you off their trail. They may have some other captive creature, such as some rather snivelling and pathetic kobolds that they've captured and kept fed, that they release into the sewers that come running out in a blind panic. And you would never ask a question such as, oh, perhaps it's something else. It's not just these kobolds, these desperate and starving kobolds who are babbling something about monsters. Um, and you may not even know that the wererats were there. You might happen to catch a wererat just out of random sheer chance. You've stumbled across one and they weren't expecting you to be there, and that unveils the whole tangled weave of secrecy that they have, so that they all of a sudden you're the target of an entire group of wererats who are trying to silence you because they don't want to be discovered. And yeah, they set up poison traps and things like that, alchemical agents, possibly sleep agents that would knock you out, and then you'd be taken and deposited somewhere far away, wondering what the hell happened to you. And perhaps there's a tuft of wererat fur that's got caught in your belt buckle that you didn't notice until afterwards that will lead you back onto that trail. But it should be mysterious. The confrontation with the wererats is probably going to happen after a significant period of mystery, or it's going to get very intense very fast, and all of a sudden you're going to think, dear God, there were wererats here all the time, and we had no idea. And it may even be a big reveal where you think, where some sort of information, you stumble across information that there's wererats under every city on the Sword Coast, or some such thing, or there's wererats operating in the city of Doors and Sigil, on the inner ring that we were unaware of, that have been running things for a long time, that sort of thing. Yeah, so wererats, good fun, great for city and urban plots and intrigues. They're a perfect monster for throwing at low-level characters when they're just starting out and they need to get to know a lot of the NPCs in a city, or wagonistas, or that sort of thing. And yeah, you should use them all the time, um, because it's great to get that sort of ninjas. Wererats, man, this place is just infested. Thanks for listening, everybody. Next video up soon.